The two states that have improved their schools the most are Arkansas and South Carolina. She changed lives for hundreds of thousands of people with no public office. In the White House, you saw something that I think is quite relevant to your choice. As many of our opponents have said in this election, we tried to get health care for all Americans, and we failed. Yes, we did. You need to know how your president will handle failure. Because I promise you, whoever you elect, unless you lock them in a closet for 4 years, they won't win every day. Their lives will be like yours. You don't win every day, do you? So you need to know, what does the president do in the face of a setback? What did she do? She got up off the mat, went back to work. You got the Children's Health Insurance Program and insured 6 million people, the biggest expansion of health care since Medicare. 90% of our children immunized against serious diseases for the first time. Big advances in the screening and care and treatment of breast cancer, cervical cancer, prostate cancer, diabetes care. She represented you in 82 countries. And I could keep you here tomorrow morning telling you stories that people still tell me about the difference she made in the lives of people in those countries. The other day, the leaders of the new government of Northern Ireland came to Washington. The end of the longest civil conflict in history. You remember all the IRA bombs and the other violence there? Well, they made the peace agreement when I was president, but it took 9 years to fully finish. So when they had their new government, all the old enemies holding hands, like they never fought over anything, they came to America and they saw President Bush. They asked to see one other person, Hillary. And she got off the campaign trail and went back to see them so they could thank her for the independent role she played, completely independent of me, in the Irish peace process. In the Senate, 10 United States senators have endorsed her candidacy because she has proved an effective change maker. They think she's most electable, but most important, they think she'd be the best president. With Republicans, she has done the following things. Passed a bill to speed the provision of body armor to our troops. Passed a bill to guarantee that National Guardsmen and reservists, if they get wounded overseas, when they get home, they get the same exact health care that regular personnel do. Passed a bill to extend the family and medical leave law to the families of people who suffer mental or physical damage while serving this country overseas. And most recently, passed a bill that she never should have had to pass, with a Republican senator from Alabama dealing with signing bonuses. You know, we're short of people, and so the Pentagon started offering generous signing bonuses for people that would sign up for 4 years service. Well, with what's going on, as you can imagine, some of them got wounded. And those that were wounded too severely to go back and finish the whole 4 years, the Pentagon was trying to get their signing bonus back. Unbelievable. But Hillary and Senator Sessions passed the bill, and they can't do it now. They can't have the bonus back. And finally, let me say, she and another person who's running for president, John McCain, together took reluctant Republicans all over the world to show them the physical changes in our planet. And now we have a bipartisan majority to tackle global warming in the U.S. Senate. Now, what's this got to do with being president? You're not going to get energy reform and you're not going to get health care reform without Republican votes. You cannot pass anything in the Senate except a budget with a majority. You've got to be able to get 60. And she has proven she can do it. And just one other thing you need to know from a president. How will they react under fire? And you never know for sure until you're tested. Hillary was tested in New Hampshire. And I'll tell you why. New Hampshire voters are notoriously independent, but there's all this fight you've all watched about who gets to go first. That's how you got up here. Right in the line. So the New Hampshire political elite, both Republicans and Democrats, they measure not whether Iowa goes first. They say, oh, they're a caucus and we're a primary, and that's more Democratic, which is true. And so they say they measure it by how far in front they are of the next one. So they kept pushing the New Hampshire primary up front, and they nearly got caught in the embrace of the Iowa caucus. So you had 48 hours of wall-to-wall media coverage and she lost. She went from being ahead to 13 points down. The race started on Saturday night with the debate. The vote was Tuesday morning. I have never seen that many votes turned that quick in an election in my life. And it happened because she looked into her soul and had to answer this question. Do you still believe you'd be the best president for the American people? And do you trust these people enough to make an independent judgment in 2.5 days? And she went out there with the people that believed in her from all over America, showed up unbelievable numbers. 85 people came all the way from Arkansas, where she has not lived in 15 years. And they turned it around in a breathtaking fashion. You need that in the president. Somebody who can look into the abyss and still believe in the promise of this country, in the fundamental goodness and common sense of the American people, and in the ability to rescue the most difficult situations. That's an important qualification for being president, because you don't know what's going to happen. There's a 50% chance or better that something we are not even discussing in this election will occur sometime in the first 12 to 18 months of the next presidency. President Bush and Vice President Gore in 2000 never talked about 9/11 or Katrina or Pakistan, but they happened. And when they happen, you need to be there, all there and ready to roll. Those are the reasons I think you should caucus for. Those are the reasons I hope you'll sign one of these pledge cards, which I was supposed to have, but I don't. But there are these commitment cards around here that people will ask you to sign. There's one. And I hope you'll show up. Now keep in mind, if you're for Hillary, you got an extra reason to show up. She's ahead in the polls. The people on the other side believe they have more organized support, and it doesn't matter that most Nevadans want to vote for her, because they think you won't take the trouble to go vote. And that's what's this whole deal here. This is a very unusual deal. This is a caucus is who gets their people to the caucus site in a fairly narrow window of time. But I hope I have persuaded you, number one, that she'd be the best president, and number two, that you got a big stake in this election. This is huge. We have to make two massive changes of course. At home on the economy, healthcare, and education, and energy, and around the world in restoring our standing in the world. You have a big stake. So I implore you to go there. I ask you to caucus for Hillary. I promise you, if you vote for her and you nominate her, everything I know about politics convinces me she will win in November by a healthy margin, and you'll be proud you helped her to become president. Now, let me just say one other thing. Do I think it'd be a good thing if America had the first female president? Yes. Yeah. Do I think it'd be a good thing if America had the first African American president? I do. Yeah. Do I think it'd be a good thing if America had the first Hispanic president? I certainly do. Do I think there'll be an Asian president in my lifetime? I do. I think this all is good. You know, but my grandmother and grandfather took care of me till I was 4, because my mother was widowed before I was born. And I watched my grandmother go to work every day for very meager wages. I watched my mother, who got up before dawn every single day of my childhood, go to work, and I saw her subject to occasional discrimination in the workplace. Hillary and I tried to raise our daughter to believe she can be anything she wants to be.